So, Leilani, what were your biggest struggles or symptoms before we started working together?
I had major brain fog. It was really, really bad. I would have to write down like checklist to make sure I wouldn't forget stuff in the morning because I just kept forgetting stuff. It was really bad. And Alex would have to help me with that, my husband. I had inconsistent bowels, major bloating, major bloating. I looked like I was 6 months pregnant a lot. And my stomach just like would bulge so much it would hurt, like I couldn't hold my stomach up anymore. Constipation, low energy, and I knew I was eating clean and I was running and the scale would not budge. My stomach would not budge.
Okay, what made you decide to work with me? Because we worked together previously. What made you decide to come back and run the GI map test and do that route?
Okay. So I knew about the GI map test because Alex, my husband, had it done with his doctor. And so I knew what it would tell. And then I found out you were doing them. And when I worked with you before, you weren't doing those tests. So when I found out you were doing them, I just kind of like hit rock bottom and was like, I need to figure out what's going on with me because I was already eating healthy. You taught me that. And I knew I wasn't doing any secret eating, on the side. I was eating clean and I was running and nothing. I felt like I was getting worse. So when I saw you were doing the GI map test, I said, I'm going to do it. So then I did it. And then it was insane. Like I cried and I cried and I cried because I felt like validated, like something was really wrong and I wasn't crazy.
Okay, what were you hoping would change? What were you skeptical or nervous about anything with the whole situation?
Well, for one, I thought I've already tried the things and I thought it's kind of like an infomercial. Like it works for those people, but it doesn't work for me because nothing's worked for me. And so I was skeptical about it actually working to get my gut in check. But I thought if I know what's going on in my gut, what's wrong with me, well, you can't go wrong. So that gave me a little bit of hope. When I started implementing it, my clothes were getting bigger and I didn't want to weigh myself. And I remember you told me, just weigh yourself because when you go down a whole clothing size, it's something. And I did. And I was 15 pounds lighter. And that was like in like 2-3 months. And so that's when I started to believe a little bit more.
Okay, what changed during the process? What were the first one or two things you did that helped you the most?
My brain fog was huge. It went away and I started feeling more like alert and awake. My mood, Alex was telling me, Alex is my husband. He tells me, I don't want you to take this the wrong way, but you are so much more enjoyable to be around because I wasn't so like snappy. But I felt like I had so much brain fog. I didn't even know what it was until I'm out of it. I feel like I couldn't look this way or that way. Like I had like, like horses have those guards. And so I was so limited. And then with all the tasks I have to do as a mom and a caregiver, I would snap and freak out and get really moody because I couldn't handle it all. And my energy. Yeah, I started to have energy.
What did you implement that you weren't implementing before that changed the game for you?
I took sugar out. That was originally so that I wasn't feeding my parasites. And I removed gluten completely. Now I don't even crave sugar. Like it's not, I'll try to do sugar-free things, which it's good. I have a little taste of it, but I'm fine. I'm like, I really don't care to have it. I won't go back to that. My diet was already changed. I was already eating well. So that wasn't the hard thing. People kept saying, oh, it must be so hard to be eating clean and changing your diet. But I'm like, I was already doing that. So I think the two major things was removing the sugar and the gluten and then implementing like the supplements and the bitters before and after I ate to help with my digestion. That really helped so that I could become more regular. Oh, eating more fiber. I realized I wasn't eating enough fiber. So I started eating a kiwi a day. And so I learned that from you. So I started eating a kiwi a day and just adding more fiber. I have a little bit of powder fiber stuff I would stick in my drink, my vitamin drink. And that helped a lot. So now I'm a lot more regular.
What were the results? Your top 3 wins. You mentioned brain fog. What else were the top 3 things that you've experienced?
My top 3 would be the weight that came off, my brain fog, and the energy that I have. I was taking these vitamin B12 shots weekly, and they would sustain me for a week, and then it started to sustain me for like 5 days, then 4 days, and I'm like, these are not working the way they used to work. I feel like I have the energy now that I had when I would take the vitamin B12 shots, and it lasts normal. It's normal. I'm not taking them anymore. I haven't taken those vitamin B12 shots in like 5 months.
How much is that costing you?
Well, because it was a friend of mine, I was getting a discount, but it could. I mean, it was about. I think it's about $45 a shot. If you were to pay for it,
that's 180.
Yeah, yeah, it was like about $180 a month, and so I don't have to do that anymore.
How has that changed your life every day?
It's made me a better person, and I know that sounds so like cliche, like it made me a better person, but it really has. I have more like the energy that I have. I'm more patient with my family. I'm more patient caregiver, more patient mom. I have a seventh grader daughter, so that says a lot. you know, I feel like if I wasn't changing this, I would be in a worse place. With just being so frustrated.
If you could tell someone who feels stuck one thing, what would you say to her?
I would say stop trying all the things that you think are good because it's on TikTok or it's on Instagram, because what works for them is not going to work for you. Our microbiome is completely unique to us. And there was a time where I was taking a supplement that was supposed to be for digestion and inflammation of your stomach. But it turned out that that supplement I was taking was full of iron, and I was feeding my parasites even more. And although it was a good thing, it wasn't good for me, but I didn't know that. So I think it's just so worth investing. You invest in all of these other things, save up, invest in this, because you're looking at what's good for you and you alone, and then you can target that, and then you feel like you're actually making a difference because you're it's a unique treatment for you. So when I started to see my test results, and I started to see what was working for me, my two oldest children, so they're 11 and 12, and they too are eating very healthy. Because of Alex, we've had to eat healthy because you've taught us all the things. And so I've taken them to the doctor at one point and told them I don't know why, like, they struggle with their weight. And they're like, oh, maybe they sneak and eat. And I'm like, no, they don't. Like, we control everything that they eat. And so they're, oh, maybe they have to be more active. Okay, they were being more active, and nothing was working. And they were always so pudgy and full and inflamed all the time. And so I just never knew what was going on. And so we fixed their diet. They're active kids, and nothing was working. So then that's when I reached out to you and asked you, can we do a GI test on them? And so you said, well, I've never done kids before, but yeah, poop is poop. So we ran it on them, and we found out so many things. We found out they also had the parasites that I had. My daughter also had candida overgrowth. There was lots of bacteria in their gut because their stomach acid was so low, so it wasn't properly killing stuff. And the other thing that was a huge eye opener was that they're so intolerant to gluten. It was like off the charts. It's like you see the green, the yellow, and the red, and like my daughter was so far off the charts she couldn't go anymore. And so she had been eating gluten, and then it was wreaking havoc on her digestive tract. And there was something in her stomach, I forget what it was, but basically, if she ate something and somebody else ate it, she would hold on to double the calories than I would have. And so she wasn't losing weight, and no matter what she did. Well, ever since we've implemented their protocol, like my son, we have to buy him new clothes already because he looks kind of sloppy because his clothes are getting too big. And my daughter is giving me her jeans that don't fit her anymore, and they fit me. So it's good because we're finding out what was their problem. And a doctor wasn't telling us this. They were just saying, oh, eat better, or they're probably eating bad with, behind your back. I mean, we only have bad stuff in the house. It's just been an overall group family thing that, we all feel better, and the kids feel better. And Elena, my daughter, she has more confidence, and so does my son. So that's huge, especially when you're in middle school years. So yeah, they're getting help too.